Five Nights at Freddy's. You know that one franchise that started in 2014 with a lore probably longer than my damn future at this point? No? And if I play this... Alright, does that ring a bell now? More seriously though, as you all probably know, FNaF became a genuine phenomenon with the community still active to this day, so as expected, there's been like 50 games since the first one came out. Around a year ago, the series was celebrating its 10th-year anniversary, and I think a few games came out for the occasion, which includes what we're covering today. Into the Pit is honestly what I would call the game adaptation of the novel with the same name, so that's pretty great for those of y'all brain rotted from TikTok who can't read a book to save their lives anymore. Alright, so the game starts us off with a prologue with Oswald drawing animatronics. And here's where we're gonna do a retrospective of the story of every game in the past so you understand every little thing. Okay, no, sorry, I lied. We are absolutely not doing that. Obviously, I know the lore and stuff, and I know for a lot of people it's the most important thing about the franchise, but I also have to think of the other half of the globe who doesn't really care and click on this video for the gameplay, so... If you don't know anything, just remember this guy is also this guy. Animatronics are usually not the nicest people known to man. So, as I was saying, the protagonist of this game is Oswald, and every day during the summer, his dad drops him off at a certain Jeff Pizzeria, which apparently sucks absolute balls and has a really bad reputation. And same goes for the town actually, like dude, look at this, where are we at? Gotham City? Oswald himself is going for a really boring summer because there's nothing to do, and the only reason he goes to Jeff's Pizzeria every day is because he can't stay home alone while his parents are at work. Oswald bro, don't worry, I think we can all relate to that struggle, 7 bro. But nonetheless, after going in and eating our pizza, it looks absolutely amazing. Source, trust me bro. This is where the game actually starts, and like you most likely noticed by now, the game is fully in pixel art. And honestly, props, this looks awesome, it's beautiful. The animations are honestly, well, really well animated. Like, I don't know, this reminds me of the turning red animation if it was pixel art. It's honestly really refreshing to me to get a game like this after all the games that are just weird area with bad lightning, flashlight that doesn't help, ugly monster, and of course more recently with all the games with a VHS effect. Alright now, so now you can finally explore Jeff's Pizzeria, which is actually owned and maintained by, well, Jeff, who does the pizzas, takes orders, and cleans up everywhere. Like, damn bro is doing more than I am when I play work at a pizza place. Granted, the pizzeria looks like it's seen better days, but that's not the subject. But anyway, at this point, Oswald, that dumb kid, wants to go do a prank on his dad, so he thinks twice about leaving me here next time. In French, we call this espèce de petit con. So he hides in a ball pit, and I don't know if he needs glasses or something, but why would you go into the ball pit with "do not use" written all over it? But actually, plot twist, when Oswald comes out, we're in the same place, which looks way more clean and has a lot more people here who all seem to be having fun. There's even my goat Freddy on the wall. When we leave the ball pit room, there's animatronics singing and dancing. Oh my god, I wonder what could have happened, am I right? Eventually you found out pretty easily that you accidentally went back in the past at the literal prime time of the pizzeria in 1995. You can also talk to a few of the kids in the pizzeria, and eventually this one named Mike wants to duel you in this minigame where you have to throw the ball into a hole to get points. Fun fact, there's one of these at the arcade where I live. That's it. That's the fun fact. By the way, there's no point watching me do this. I suck. Like, dude, look at this. It should be criminal to be this bad at this point. This makes me wonder, actually, where your parents are? Why are you all just left to chill here? At some point after the duel, your new two friends, which became your friends in less than 5 minutes, propose to play hide and seek, and your only hiding spot is a golden Freddy suit. For those who don't know the series, usually someone entering an imaginary suit doesn't end too well. Here, though, it's fine. The problem will come from somewhere else. I'm just gonna leave you with the moment. Bro, that scene for real had me like... I do want to mention though, this is beautiful. Seriously, what did they feed this artist? Wait a second. Wait, shit, it's going where the kids are! Of course, it's very quickly going to become absolute chaos as expected. Everyone is running towards the exit, and I mean instinctively you do the same. Oh. Yeah, that's the first ending that most people get since this game has multiple endings. Not me though. Do not ask for my thought process. I just figured, hey, they're running that way, so I'm gonna go what every dumb character does in a horror movie and go the other way, or something along those lines. So the goal is to go towards the animatronic, which plays cinematic, where he does a little wave and motions us to follow him. And when you open the door he went through, you're met with a QTE. And then Oswald just throws something at him. Good to know this kid stands on business, damn. You then run back and jump into the ball pit to head back to the present. When you come back, you're met with Jeff and your dad, who had probably been stressing the fuck out by now. Are you proud of yourself, Oswald? And then once he steps forward, okay, real talk, what do I call it? The animatronic? Like in Dead by Daylight? Yeah, let's go with that. So, as I was saying, the animatronic comes out of ball pit. Do not ask me how the hell I figure out that it's a time machine, I have no idea. And kidnaps your dad. Oswald, thankfully, manages to pull him back out of the ball pit. Is this animatronic old or something? How do you keep getting owned by a kid like that? Sadly, that was too late though, as the animatronic does manage to kidnap the dad. Somehow. And takes his form. Or possesses him. I have no idea, just know this ain't our dad. Surprisingly though, no one notices it. For example, when Oswald tries telling Jeff that something is wrong with his dad, he says he looks fine to him. I mean, bro, give him a chance. This guy has probably been here for like 12 hours already. This is what he's saying at this point. The animatronic takes you back home anyhow, and this is where the actual game starts, which is gonna consist of running and hiding from the animatronic as you try and fix problems that stop your progression to get to the end goal of saving Oswald's dad. The game itself is dividing between 5 days and nights, which is obvious, judging from the name of the game. Not quite accurate though, since we are at Freddy's, but hey, it's a step in the right direction. In those 5 days, you'll most probably be either your house or the pizzeria, in which you'll switch from the present and past often to resolve the problems I mentioned earlier. There are also 3 other areas: the mill, which only has trash since it went out of function a few years back, the library, which you only need to go to once from my memories, and the school. School, which is the most boring area of the game, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, the main focus of the game is gonna be based in your house in the pizzeria, which is where you're gonna confront the animatronics. Yes, plural. We'll talk about that in a second. To escape said animatronic, you actually have quite a lot of options running in general, which works surprisingly well. Even though he's kind of fast, I think the game adapts itself to how many times you die. Sometimes he'll catch up, sometimes he doesn't. If you do want to get him somewhere specific, the game has a noise mechanic in the right corner that shows you how much noise you're making. For example, I kept booping Freddy's nose back at the pizzeria and hiding in a vent. Listen, fun is subjective, okay? But at the end of the day, your best bet is mostly to hide in the many spots the game gives you in pretty much every area, like under beds, tables, or inside the vents back at Freddy's. And to not break the rhythm, or to keep the brain rotted interested, there are a few minigames that sometimes play out when you're hiding that you need to succeed at so you don't die. For example, in events, it's making sure to keep the spiders away from you, or in wardrobes, looking away from the animatronic. There's also the tables. Those aren't really minigames, and more QT though. Like I mentioned earlier, there are segments in the pizzeria, but also in your house, in which your sole objective will always be to escape your house while the animatronic is actively roaming in its rooms to go back to the pizzeria and continue your objectives. However, every night the way you leave the house might be slightly harder depending on what you choose to do previously. You can only do one way of escaping per night, so for example on night 1 you might have simply walked out the front door, but on the second night you might use a screwdriver you got from the pizzeria to open your bedroom's window, which will be boarded up on night 3. Honestly, I'd say this is most likely the scariest part of the game for a lot of players, really because of how narrow and dark it is. Sometimes you go through all the rooms and inevitably find the animatronic. You can help yourself with the sound. Sometimes it doesn't fully work. I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid, but sometimes I hear the animatronic leaving the room, and then when I enter said room, I just get jump scared. So I don't know. However, your primary mission in the past will of course be saving your dad, but Oswald, by extension, also saves some of the kids who got caught while trying to escape. The first one is in the dining area and is right in your path once you leave the pulpit room. He's stuck in an endoskeleton, and we then need to head back to the past to ask Jeff if he has a screwdriver. He gives us the key to the basement, but unfortunately the screwdriver there is unusable. So we head back to the past, and thankfully the screwdriver in that basement is fine, which lets us save the kid. I honestly really like having to switch between past and present like that to resolve the issues in our path, and that it's not just used as a plot device. Nonetheless, after saving the kid, it's time to go back home to get some sleep and then head to school, where we're given a sketchbook featuring the different animatronics. For now, it's not really useful because there's only one of them, but you'll see, it'll be useful in later nights. During night 2, we'll have to alert Chica out with a piece of pizza as she's blocking the door to another kid stuck. And if you know FNaF, of course we're using pizza to do so. Compared to the others, Chica is completely harmless. However, she makes a loud noise when you pass by her that alerts the other animatronic. Like I said, in theory, it's a cool idea, though in practice, listen, I don't know if I just got the best luck known to mankind, but somehow I never saw her again after luring her out. And the same goes for the other two I'll talk about soon. And again, it's a cool idea and probably references the way she can slam pots and dishes together in the kitchen of her first game. But otherwise, like we already discussed, hiding is rather easy anyway. Yes, it can surprise you though, I'll give it credit for that. I would like to bring up a known bug now before we continue that I personally did not encounter, but I feel like it is worth mentioning for those of you who may want to try the game for yourself after this video. The game has a well-known issue that can happen at any time. It can start to lag at any time and give you as many frames as it likes, and if you try and continue playing while ignoring it, it seems to only get worse. Simply the most effective way to fix this is to relaunch the game, though it is still annoying to do that every time. Or the other way is to play using a keyboard. I do know some people are controller fruiters like me though, so I did figure I'd mention this. I'm not honestly quite sure if it's been patched or not, but there we go. If it happens to you, you know what to do. Nonetheless, let's continue. If you've done everything right up to this point, on night 3 you should be meeting the goat himself, Bonnie, who we also need to lure out using something in the pizzeria. This time around, we'll be using his guitar we fixed earlier, using some guitar strings we found back at the mill in present time. Oswald, I hate to say it, bro, your ass is never getting out of your small ass town with that. Bonnie won't chase after you either. His whole thing will instead be to hide under tables to surprise you if you try to hide under them. Sadly, I'm not gonna lie, he's the most forgettable animatronic of the whole game. Even though his cinematic, and the one that follows in events, is incredible, he's really more of an anecdote than a true mechanic. By the way, just like Chica, I never saw his ass after I first met him. And no, for once, I wasn't playing in easy mode. I think I genuinely just put all my gacha luck in this game instead. To be fair, if you're getting chased, okay, I will admit you can get caught by him, but like, come on, if you're at least a little focused, you can still see this blue hand under the table, like, dude, come on, you're not fooling anyone. With Bonnie now out of the way, we can head back to the arcade and find one of the other kids stuck. Dude, he's been here for like 3 days already. You can say hello to the biggest concussion of your life now, poor guy, what the fuck? But anyway, something else before we save him, we leave, we sleep, and after all that, we have another segment that's cool. Yes, you can sigh in disapproval, I understand you. Segment in which, I think this is supposed to represent Oswald getting bullied by the cool guy of the school, but bro, I think he looks more stupid than Oswald does. Like, bro, what are you laughing at? In the middle of the bullying though, we get a visual hallucination, I think, of the animatronics dancing, and then all the other students morph into endoskeletons, which makes Oswald go, I guess, insane or something and beat the hell out of the bully. But okay, that's it. I'm gonna keep count of every time this 12-year-old owns literally everyone in his path, because bro, there's no way. After this, Oswald decides to skip school, me-core, and heads directly to the pizzeria to get a head start. This will immediately start at night 4. On this night, you'll have to confront the last of the main 4 I named Freddy Fazbear. Who's really forgettable too, sadly. Bro, I know y'all like the main 3. It's my fault, I saw all of them once. He appears in a single cinematic where he does this. But pretty much for him to leave us alone, we literally need to blow him up. I wish I was joking. Pretty much he obtained firecrackers from an absolutely not suspicious kid at the library by trading a PSP you got from repairing arcade machines for them. I swear to you guys, this is all the steps to literally blow up Freddy. Pretty much it's going to blind him, which just lets proceed to the room he was guarding, the security room, which has another kid. How the fuck did he get so many of you guys? And cameras! Which you can actually use to observe around. No, but honestly, this is a cool idea, right? They could make a whole game off of this. POV the guy who didn't follow the plot at all. The animatronic eventually attacks the entrance camera and then kidnaps the little girl who was in the security room and locks her in the fridge. Or freezer. I forgot. But apparently Oswald did powerlifting, or he went to the gym a bunch or something, because he's able to break it open with the hammer from the arcade. And literally right after, he's able to break free from the animatronic's grasp. How did he do that? He didn't even touch him, like. But nonetheless, the girl is safe, and that's the end of night 4. Which means there is only one night left, which is honestly quite short. This time around, the ball pit room is locked off, which means we need to go ask Jeff for the key, who's working hard as it appears. This time, once the key is obtained, the animatronic will start chasing you directly from the present all the way to Freddy's, where he still doesn't stop. But from here, it's honestly rather simple. You go into the vents from the entrance to access the backstage area where the key card for the party room is, in which you save another girl. She also dropped a picture when she ran away in my playthrough, but don't worry, I'll touch on this later. You can go through the vents of the party room to finally find the room your dad is kept captive in after. At this point, Oswald unties him, but then hears the animatronic heading his way, so he heads back inside the vent, where the animatronic takes him away. Again. We follow him back to the pulpit room, where we find him literally harassing him like, bro, that's an unconscious man. I promise you he's not gonna do anything to you. And then, okay, so now he can literally punch him. Okay. Oh well, if it works, it works, as they say. And then Oswald runs towards his dad to escape and drops a picture I picked up earlier back in the party room. The animatronic sees it and starts tweaking. Trust me, this will all make sense in a second. which gives you enough time to escape and grab your dad from the ball pit. Of course, he has to take a bat out of my arm though. For some reason, that's the most normal thing ever. Oswald gives him one last punch, which traps him in the net of the pit. And then Oswald and his dad leave the pizzeria, which gives the good ending, which is also the ending I got first somehow. If you're curious, this ending is triggered by collecting an item related to Oswald's dad each night, which makes the picture I mentioned earlier spawn, which is a picture of William Afton and Henry, by the way. However, if you get the ending I got, the post-credits scene shows Jeff entering the ball pit room and getting killed by the animatronic, because I mean, yeah, we did just leave him there. There is an even better ending though, where literally nothing changes except the post-credit scene, where Jeff's pizzeria got renovated and everyone seems to be happier. Though in my opinion, I'm pretty sure the ending I got I will call the quote-unquote canon ending, since I do think Jeff dies in the novel. So yeah, I don't care. The theorists can say whatever they want. I believe in myself. There is a fifth ending where if you miss the punch DC, it's weird as hell, in which you get welcomed by all the animatronics and at the end possessed like your dad. There's a bunch of minigames and Easter eggs everywhere too, which I am honestly not too interested in seeing. What to remember though is that there is an insane amount of effort put into the game to make both fans and newcomers to the series happy. From a replayability standpoint, it's not that bad. You can fully customize the difficulty to your liking, like in Amnesia the Bunker, for those of you who know that game. In my opinion, it's honestly a pretty cool game. I don't have too much to say other than its best point is definitely the art direction that's clearly been worked on insanely well. I personally didn't encounter any glitches, so I can't complain, but I do know they exist. So if you're wondering whether or not the game is scary, I'd say it has the scary moments. Otherwise, I know for a fact I was mostly scared by the overall ambience and environment. Like, knowing animatronics are behind any door is not a joyful experience. It has the scary jump scares too. Granted, some are scripted, but they still have their effects when you're not expecting them. But that's mostly it. Well, I'll definitely go to talk more about the secrets and how the game connects itself to the other games, if it even does, for that matter. But anyway, I honestly did want to make another hour-long video, since those honestly take a lot out of me. And also my goal was to make this video understandable for those of you who are watching this who might have not binged watched timeline videos and 150 hours of Furies. Nonetheless, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Huh? I wonder who that could be. I'm not expecting anyone.